Good evening, good evening. This is another episode of Get Amped Match Day 3. Here we go. I'm gonna start talking quickly about our boys yesterday. Got a massive draw against West Ham. Um, Absolute massive point there. Second half performance was absolutely fantastic. And yeah, it's a much needed point, going into international break. Um, and then hopefully we'll get a few more players back. Like Michael Elise should be back. So yeah, just looking forward to it. Absolutely looking forward to it. Massive results as well in the league. Arsenal 5-0 down, 5 goals down against City. Absolute crazy. United just about crossing the line today against Wolves. Wolves, in all honesty, should have had that game, to be fair. But this is how it is. Who else was there? Chelsea, Liverpool, very entertaining game, actually. Very entertaining game. And I think the league started to take shape at the moment. Tottenham are now undefeated, 3 wins in 3, so that's big for them. So yeah, we'll just kind of see how it pans out, especially after the international break. Be very interesting to see how our teams form and our teams, regather their form. So yeah, you know what? This is the fan calling show to talk about your club. So that's enough talking from me. I'm going to bring in the first caller. Good evening.
Good evening from Dubai, 12 p.m., and I can't sleep. Uh, Torture here, but anyway, it is what it is. Ah,
Talk about the result, the performance.
Shit. Absolute shit performance. From the manager, from the players, from. What? Like, somebody tell me what Van de Beek has done to stay on the bench. Like, seriously? Like, Fred, I'm sorry, but if he. Like, what has Fred done to stay on the pitch for 90 minutes? Honestly, it's beyond me understanding. Only like if you're not gonna put Van de Beek on, then put Matic instead of Fred. Fred was dreadful. Like sometimes you could defend him, but today he's undefendable. He was crap. Like not even a single pass correct. Kept missing the ball, kept missing tackles, and he nearly gave them 2 assists. Luckily from clearance from Wan-Bissaka and uh, and the double save from De Gea. Like De Gea's back. The David De Gea we know is back. So the performance was crap, but Greenwood we know that now he's a top. He's a real player now. We can't say he's a youth or he's now established himself. So really happy for Greenwood. I'm really happy for Rafael Varane debut, and it's also a it's a clean sheet today. First clean sheet of the season and Varane's first game. So yeah, a bit little positives but a lot of negatives really. And Oli has to like save himself because Ronaldo's now coming, and if you're not gonna create those chances to Ronaldo, then like I'm sorry, then you have no place to manage Man United.
I'm going to ask you one specific question because I know there's going to be a few United fans that's going to come on, so I'm going to spread the questioning out. You mentioned obviously no Donny. What do you think the reason is that Donny's not getting any game time?
Honestly, I don't. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Like, but if you're telling me that he's a center attacking mid, then you don't know football because the guy is slow. Then why do you put him center attacking mid position? Like, I don't see him as a center attacking midfielder. I don't. But like people saying that he can't do this holding midfielder role, like He doesn't know how to do this box to box role or the Fred role. Now, if he doesn't know how to do this Fred role, then he can clearly do it miles better today than Fred, because Fred did nothing correct. And if Van de Beek was crap as he was, then you have nothing to lose. Just put him on and see what he does. But no, he sticks with Fred. I don't know why he sticks with Fred. I can't see why Van de Beek doesn't get any game time. Why don't you start Matic and Van de Beek together and start Pogba on the wing instead of putting James? James was crap today. I didn't even recognize James today.
I was surprised to see him on the team sheet.
Every single time he's on the team sheet and he plays, I don't recognize him. He just goes like, you know what? Every time he does, when he gets the ball, he goes like using ball to the corner, right? And he crosses it without looking who's in the box, and always gets a corner. And the worst part is that he doesn't even cross the ball. He like passes it, I don't know where, but like I don't know what Danny James is, and clearly he's not a Man United player, or clearly he's not a top 6 player. So he has to be sold as ASAP if we have to get a midfielder, hopefully.
Cool. No, thanks for that. Absolutely, thanks for that, Hamza. Just shout out your channel.
The United Community. Man United. We're talking Man United, FPL, and watch out for the next FPL because Ronaldo, straight back, he's gonna be in there every single fantasy Premier League team without doubt. So yeah, I'm gonna be excited for next week. It's gonna be a bit of a good holiday this week, and yeah, I love this community. You know, I absolutely do. So yeah, I'm good.
Get out as much streams as you can now whilst you're in Dubai, boy, because I know you've been having issues with that.
Yeah, like you see it's a public internet. You know, this is a public internet that everybody uses. Like we have what no.
Right. Bro, I'm just gonna cut you there. I didn't need an absolute story about the internet in Dubai. I was just saying, just do your streams now. But listen, big up for calling in, bro.
Ruining it.
Big up for calling in, my bro. I'm gonna be in touch. Take care.
Take care, man.
You gotta love this guy, man. Absolutely love this guy. Right. Yeah, you know what? I see Ferbs in the back. I'm so glad he's called. But Ferbs, I'm going to get you in last. There's a reason for it because I want to actually chat to you after the show as well. All right. So don't worry. Thanks for jumping in. There's a Man City fan that's going to be coming in too. So looking forward to hearing her thoughts when she jumps in. I have reached out to Arsenal fans. I don't think they're going to jump in tonight. You can tell. You can see why. You can see why. But you know what? Let's get my boy in. Mr. Euroscope himself. What's happening? You managed to change kit quickly, yeah?
Yeah. It's just a Nike top, bro. I ain't rocking the Chelsea yet.
Right, we talking Chelsea or Juve?
I'm going to talk Chelsea because at least we held our own with 10 men, bruv. But honestly, that was not a fucking red card for Reece James. I'm sorry. Yeah, I can go and suck a penis. Honestly, excuse the language. But honestly, I saw it today. Ridiculous. And the guy was just like defending. It was just the way the movement went. I can see why VAR gave it, but it was never a red card, full stop, bro. But honestly, I think it was a good performance. Tuchel's definitely got something down with our team now. Even Thiago Silva coming on played blinding, bruv. Christensen had a great game yesterday. I feel bad for Havertz because obviously he scored and then had to go off as well. But what a head. I mean, where the hell that header came from? It was just like backwards and lofted over. I was just unbelievable techers to get it in. Liverpool didn't look that special either. honestly, for me, I thought we could definitely, if we were still 11 v11, I think we would have won that game. But you can't what ifs and buts. Football is football. The way it goes, it goes. And then if you want to look at a post Ronaldo Juventus, it was just a shite performance all in all. I kind of was frustrated because the emphasis was more on, you've not got number 7 now, so you're not going to win the game. And obviously he's probably rubbing his hands together thinking, great. Yeah, it was just an all-round disappointment, to be honest, to see that. Milan look like they've just scored 5 now. No, still 4. But for me, I was a bit disappointed, bro. Genuinely. Yeah, I think if you want, I can speak on behalf of the Arsenal fans if you want as well.
No, don't worry. We've got one coming in.
They are shit. Top of the league. Shit, bruv. Wow, I've never. Yeah, bruv. What did I say to you? Palace are finishing higher, bruv. You lot are 14.
You know what? Sam, you about?
Oh,
Hello.
Big up to you because you are an Arsenal fan. Like,
I'm a solid Arsenal fan.
talk to us. What's going on with your club?
It's paying for the sins of the past. You got to pay them at some point and start papering over the cracks, right? So we've got 8 of the starting 11 yesterday played under Wenger. You've got Unai Emery, who was hounded out for finishing 5th, and now you're hounding out a manager who, let's if we apply objectivity to it, 3rd highest points total after Christmas, 3rd best defense overall in the league last year. He's got decimation of injuries and COVID, and everyone is going mental. In what world, anywhere, does any team get out of the Etihad with Holding, Chambers, Kolasinac as your 3 centre backs? Like,
bruv.
Say that out loud. No matter what fan you are, say that out loud.
Sam, you spent £27 million on a lone player, bruv.
Spent £27 million.
Is there a player that you bought was on loan? You got him for 27 million. You bought
we paid 27
you did, and your team bought a centre back for 50 million.
Who's out?
And United managed to get very prolific players for less than him altogether.
No, that's a falsehood, because all you're taking is just saying this is the amount that we've had publicised that doesn't account for wages, etc. We've spent overall a lot less.
169 million pounds.
Pardon?
169 million.
169 million what?
Pounds.
We spent 132 million.
169.
How are you?
Have a look, bro.
50, 30, 30, 8 and 10. How is that 169 million?
Looking, man. Keep looking. I think you lot need to wake your eyes and shine a little bit. I think Arteta, do you think he's got a football savvy? Just because he's worked with Guardiola.
Well, we don't know. Our season hasn't begun. We lost 3, but apart from Chelsea and City, right? Who survives with that number of injuries? Because when Liverpool got decimated last year with this scale of injuries, oh, don't worry, it's because they've lost X or because they've lost X. We lost our entire senior attackers. We've lost our entire senior backline, barring one, and our starting centre mid. But it's all doom and gloom. It's all Arteta's fault.
But yeah, he scored a goal.
Explain to me, right? Who do you support again? Sorry,
Chelsea, bro.
Pardon?
Chelsea.
So imagine you went there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Zuma, Bakayoko, if he's still on your book.
Zuma's just gone to West Ham. Bakayoko's gone to Milan. Go on.
This is what I'm saying. If they were there, you went there with your third string back 3, right? And
we still won the Champions League.
Costa and Emerson in your lineup, and you're telling me you're going to leave there unscathed? We
probably would have scored.
Would you really?
Yeah, probably.
You know what?
And we've got good results against Man City.
Lads, you know what?
That's the grab.
I'm going to come back to this debate. I think we need to come back to this debate. But the reason why I wanted Sam in is for a specific reason. And Sam, big up for you for coming in. Leo, stay at the back and we're going to bring you in a bit later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sam, big up for you for coming on as an Arsenal fan. But I actually wanted to talk about yesterday's performance with you and with my friend Yannicka, who is a Man City fan.
All
Yan,
right.
how you doing?
Yeah, good. How are you?
Yeah, well, I'm good. Great 2-2 draw yesterday, so I'm happy. You must be buzzing.
Yeah, like it's still early days, obviously, in the league, so it's a bit like, it's a bit different if it was later in the league. But obviously, I'm happy. I think City, the first game, I did expect us to lose because we didn't have a preseason. We tend to start quite slow when we don't have a preseason, so I kind of expected the loss at Spurs. But yeah, I think since then City have looked good. I still think we need a striker because, in some games where it's going well, it's not too bad. We've won 5-0 twice now. But it's when it's them tight games where it's 0-0 and you just need one goal. It's like, will Ferran Torres be able to score that? I'm not so sure. So I think we still need a striker. But yeah, I'm happy for now.
Cool. Just before we actually touch on that yesterday's game, Rush United fan here, so put some respect on Croydon.
No, not at all.
Allow us, yeah. We're local boys. You're around the corner too, so
yeah.
But what's your thoughts on the game? Like, because obviously a lot will say that Xhaka's sending off could have been a turning point. It looked like it was going to be 5 or 6 goals regardless. Jan, what's your thoughts? And I'll come to Sam afterwards.
I think Arsenal started well. Like the first sort of 10 minutes, Arsenal were quite good. It might have been less than that actually, but it felt like the first 10 minutes they were quite good. I think they had a chance. Then City kind of came into. This sounds disrespectful. I actually don't mind Arsenal. That's the thing.
I think they had a chance.
But yeah, City kind of came in. Gabby, I'm so happy for Gabby because I've been saying this guy, he's good, and all rival fans are like, he's shit, he doesn't score. Firmino is clear and all this stuff, and I'm like, no, Gabby is good, but he's not a striker. Like, to me, if you're an attacking player and you run into the box and your first thought is to pass, to me, you're not a striker because Aguero wouldn't run into the box and look at who he needs to pass to. He would shoot. So for me, Gabby is not a striker, and now he's been put out on the wing. We're seeing the best of him, and he has been really, really good. Grealish, a lot of people are saying he's not shown up yet. He's actually created 6 chances. I think. Well, he did in the game. Yeah, he's created a lot. His job is not really to score at Man City, it's to create, and he's been doing that. So yeah, I think City just look quite strong, and I think when we do have them games where we go 1-0 up or 2-0 up quite early in the game at home, we do tend to dominate. So I think the only way Arsenal could have beaten us, because I actually did say before the game, I don't know if you saw it, but I said it's one of them things where it's so much in our favour that I could see it being like an Arsenal 1-0. Like I could actually see that. Yeah. And I think that was Arsenal's game plan, to score early. You could tell in the first 5 minutes they were trying to get a goal. And then I think they would have sat back. But obviously, because City got the first goal, they had to then come out. So their game plan, I think, if they'd have got that first goal, I think it would have been more of a difficult game for City. But the way... After we got 2 goals early on, I knew it would be a high-scoring game. So yeah, it's a bit mad.
All right, so just before you have your say, Vibes here says Arteta halftime. Lads, we're effed. I can't ask Pep for tactics today.
Oh, I like Arteta. Bless his heart.
He said 91% possession at one point. Lord of mercy, I can't even do that on FIFA. And Euroscope himself says Sam's going to be really nice now. Sam, talk to us about yesterday's game before we get into the Arteta in, Arteta out.
yesterday's game, I agree with the points that were made. The game plan was to do what we did 2 seasons ago, which is hit on the counter attack, 2 solid banks, and hold. Right now, the challenge is that doable with a back 3 that contains the names that I mentioned before: Rob Holding, Callum Chambers, and Kolasinac. Like, who can say that? Like, I'm trying to say that seriously. I'm not even trying to banter nobody. That was that's
we've got a better backline than you.
This is what I'm saying, right? And that's not even our first or second string. Like, we're beyond our Europa squad. Like, we're clear gone. Like, bear in mind, you've got a player who is supposed to be going to Fenerbahce in the next 48 hours. That's had to be played. Rob Holding, who is clearly there to be phased out and to come off the bench. Callum Chambers, we don't know what to do with him, right? We signed him. Wenger signed him however many years ago. We've sent him out on loan. He did well in that atrocious Fulham team before they got sent down. So I don't really understand what else anyone expected going into that game. At one point, in and amongst Arsenal fans, bearing in mind it was 10 years to the day that we held the 8-2 at Old Trafford. We said we thought it could be 8 because there's no base to go in with that attack, right? There's no point. And I think the thing I can't understand is he went into that game and essentially went in there with no centre mids. No centre mid control because he's gone in there with Xhaka. We know what Xhaka is like. We've seen it. He's been rewarded with an extension, fine, to hold any kind of value that he may have. And a kid, when in actual fact he should have had 2 sitters to protect that 3 at the back as best as possible, to try and at least keep it respectable, because you're not gonna hold the ball for any great period of time. And you're going to have to try and do something with at least 30 or 40% of the ball. We almost did it with that Edison chance where Emil Smith-Rowe closed him down and he got a little bit lackadaisical. But apart from that, we couldn't lay a glove on them. But I'm not going to get onto the manager for looking at the tools he has. You're trying to tell him to try and build a house with my daughter's Playmobil tools. It's madness. I'll say it again. Kolasinac. Holding went Turkey and his hairline isn't even holding. It's not even holding. He only had the surgery a few weeks ago and he's got to hold a back line together. And Chambers, I saw some stats on Cedric Suarez. Like, have some objectivity about it. There's all this emotion. When you look at it, it's our 3rd loss in 8 games, right? It's our 3rd loss in 8 games. There's not many teams that have got a better record. 3rd points amassed since Christmas. Yes, pre-Christmas was an absolute car crash. And I still believe that Aubameyang is still on that airport floor in Gabon, post the Gabon African Cup of Nations qualifier pre-Christmas. Like, there is a lot rotten, but everyone's shouting Arteta in, Arteta out. We hounded out Wenger. We got stuck with Wenger's players. We hounded out Unai. We got stuck with Unai's players. We're going to hound out Arteta now, and then we'll be stuck with his players. And then we've got a hodgepodge of players with no clear direction who we can't get rid of. It makes absolutely no sense. At some point, you're going to have to stick. Yeah, you have to. Otherwise, you're just going to end up repeating these same sins over and over and over and over again.
Cool. Yeah, just final thoughts before I let you go, because I know you're very busy as it is. If you don't get a striker before the end of the window, how do you see the season going?
I did say before the season started that I think if we get a striker, we'll win the league. If we don't, we'd probably finish 2nd. I did predict that it'd be Chelsea that finish ahead of us. I still think that, to be honest. I think City do look fine without a striker, but like I said earlier, I think the games where it's a bit closer, we will struggle a little bit without we just need a clinical striker. Anyone clinical, really, that can just put the ball in the back of the net. Ferran Torres is good, but he's still quite young. He's still learning, so I wouldn't want to put all that pressure on him. Same with Delap, who's only 18. It's a lot of pressure to put on someone. So I think we definitely do need a striker. Whether we get one, I'm not sure. I think we'd left it a bit too late, to be honest. So yeah, I don't think we'll get one. But that being said, if anyone can win the league without a striker, it's Pep. So we'll have to see what happens. Obviously, Liverpool looked good yesterday, not so much because they didn't play that well in the second half. Chelsea looked good defensively, which does win you titles. Going forward again, not so much. So we're just going to have to see what happens throughout the season. But hopefully we can win it again because I don't want anyone else winning it. So,
any words of encouragement for Sam here regarding Arteta?
I actually don't mind Arsenal, and I don't hate Arteta. I think with Arteta, what I've always said is the job was way too big for him to go for your first job. Arsenal's quite a difficult project. Like, I even think Pep would struggle with Arsenal right now with the tools that he would have. So yeah, I think it was a tough job for him to take in the first place. He took it, and it's there's a lot of even the players that they've brought in now. It's kind of like, I personally think they should have gone for like Basuma from Brighton because he's a very good player. He wanted to come to Arsenal. It's not like other players where they're going to say, I'm playing Champions League football, I don't want to play for Arsenal. He plays for Brighton. So people like that, if I was Arteta, I would have got them sorts of guys in. Because Arsenal have got some good players, but it's just a lot of them are kind of like, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe them, but a lot of them are not up to the standard that Arsenal need them to be. So I don't know. We'll have to see. No, it's just in comparison because I hate Spurs, man. I hate Spurs with passion. So that's probably why I don't want Arsenal. Oh God. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. We'll have to see. I think Arteta probably will get sacked though, just the way that things work. And then obviously, like Sam says, they're probably going to have to then start again. But it's good. It's going to be tough to get where they need to get. I think everyone else is strengthening, which is more difficult. So I don't know. We'll have to see where they finish. I doubt they're going to get relegated or finish bottom half or anything crazy like that. Because I think when the other competitions kick in, people are going to have one eye on Europe, and Arsenal won't have that. So they can just focus on each game every week, and hopefully for them, for their sake, they can finish quite high up the table. But it's going to be difficult.
Absolutely. Jan, shout out your channels.
Yeah, you can find me on Yan City ENT on YouTube, which I don't really use, or mainly on Sarcasm City. So yeah, I'll be on there from midnight tonight. So Sarcasm Podcast, I think it is. You'll find us.
Yeah, guys, get over to it. I'll drop it in the description anyway after the show.
Thanks for having me on.
No, thanks for coming on. Make sure you support Jan. Midnight, you said, yeah?
Yeah.
I'll look to tune in.
Oh, thank you.
No
See
problem.
you guys later.
See ya. Take care.
Have a good one.
Bye.
So, Sam, just before you go, are you Arteta in or Arteta out?
For me, he's in. He has 5 games after the international break. He needs a minimum of 13 points. I can't judge a man with, like I've said, I can't judge a man with the tools that he has. If any Arsenal fan was honest with themselves, they wanted 3 points, maybe 4 points out of this original 3, right? That hasn't come to fruition as a result of the fact that whatever happened prior to the Brentford game, COVID, last minute changes to the team. So fine, you take that. Chelsea, we were always going to lose. We have a good record. We've had a recently good record against them, but given what we then had seen against Brentford, it was inevitable. City, I mean, the moment you saw that lineup, it was inevitable, right? It was a little bit like Thanos coming in Endgame. So I can't yet. And the manager needs time with the tools that he has. Everyone is literally, all they're doing is going last season up until Christmas, skip out the second half for this season, 3 defeats. That's all everyone seems to see and is being lambasted on with pundits, etc. Take a step back and have a look at it with some objectivity, and take a look at what he's had to work with, the issues that needed to be addressed, because the same situation happens if he goes. The same players that we have been haranguing, saying that they're not good enough since Wenger was there, are still at the club. They failed Wenger. They failed Unai. They're failing Arteta. Well, the backups are failing Arteta, and some of them, and the captain are failing Arteta. So where do you go? You now go and give somebody else another 3 years, and they have 2 windows to come and further mix up that cocktail, whilst also we're all screaming, "Get rid of the dead wood! Get rid of the dead wood!" And then what? We end up with another hodgepodge of a squad that's even more of a miss. At some point, we're going to have to stick. Try and get 6th or 7th and move forwards from there. That's my realistic opinion. Anyone that thinks that we're in a top 4 or top 5 battle, I don't think has got their head screwed on, looking at the way that other teams have been over the last 18 months.
Cool. I'm just going to bring this guy in just to finish up this little debate between you two, and then I need to bring in my Wolves fan and then the United contingent. So, yeah, Mr. Chelsea's back.
Sam, I love you, man. Seriously, just shit tools, bruv. But at the end of the day, you got to give him 5 games. I think you're being very generous, but I think at the moment, who you got to bring in?
This is the other thing everyone's talking about. Sack him for who?
Sam Allardyce, isn't it?
Who is there currently available that improves?
Big Sam.
Oh, give over. That improves the situation.
Yeah, well, at the bottom of the league. He likes taking everyone out at the bottom of the league, isn't it?
It's 3 games. All right, so the title race is done. Give Tottenham their first.
Sam, man's fishing and I'm catching every time.
You're not even catching. No, I'm not even biting. There's no argument to be had with Chelsea. You had your embargo. You spent unbelievably. Your squad is deep.
We didn't spend that much in this transfer window, though. It didn't go too mad. Do you know what I mean?
The last 2 windows, you spent a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah, I'm not going to say we didn't.
Barring City getting a striker, you win the title. In my personal opinion, I don't see a team that mixes it better than you.
With Jan, I was saying, man, Gabriel Jesus is looking good this season. I think they got to give him a little bit of time, man.
I mean, yeah, from as an inside forward from the right, but he still has only ever got a maximum of 15 goals all competition.
Yeah, so, but I think there was surge there, innit? So I think they got definitely look into it. I think you lot have got a lot of work to do. Let alone by your injuries, the gelling of the team's going to take it's going to take a while as well, because if they're coming back filtering through, you lot got there's not much depth in your squad.
And almost everybody is back after the international break, and to the point that was made earlier, because we are not playing midweek football, we've got a lot more time on our hands to be able to fix it. We hopefully will pull some shocks just due to that fatigue, right? But ultimately, we can't start jumping to conclusions. We've already hounded out 2 men. We hounded out a manager that finished 5th 1 year because we had a bad run. Because 2.5 years ago, Arsenal fans were going 21 games unbeaten. 21 games unbeaten. The football was horrendous. 21 games unbeaten. So at some point, somebody's going to have to be given some time. You can't keep sacking managers every 2 years to seek success. The only team that does that and sees it happen and sees results is Chelsea, and that is their model. There isn't another team in the league that has that model that works. Sam,
just quickly, Aaron White, who I believe you know very well, he's like, sack him. There's plenty of managers out there. Thoughts on that?
Aaron has lost patience, and I can understand why Aaron has lost patience. Aaron lost patience before Christmas, right? And a lot of Arsenal fans lost patience before Christmas, purely because they were so low or had been so angry at getting Unai out that the worst enemy that effectively Arteta had was winning that FA Cup, right? Because then you had that whole summer of Aubameyang signed the team. We won the FA Cup. We're kits and vibes. We're going to go into this season, and it all came crashing down. And we effectively just became Kits and Vibes FC for the first half of the season. Kits were banging, on pitch, nothing. There, it has to be the stats. The stats don't manifest themselves without something, right? So there's no way that we still have somehow, given the horror show of the first half of the season, managed to get one of the best defensive records in the league, or amass the most amount of points in the second half of the season. So there's green shoots within there somewhere, and therefore there's something that that's what needs to be focused on to be developed. Not all of this other noise. So people can say we can shout out and try and get Bissouma. Add Bissouma. That means come January when we're already, and we know that our midfield is a pile of dog shit behind Partey and with Xhaka, means that you've got your entire midfield that you do want to see play off to the African Cup of Nations, and then we'll be back here in the same mess. Let's have some reason to it all. Bit of patience, a bit of clarity. He's got 5 games where he has to pick up points. I think if this situation continues and he can't seem to find a rhyme or rhythm into October and into the next international break, then I don't think he's got any qualms if the chopping block lands on his head. But ultimately, we have to focus on the green shoots and see what the next 5 games deliver, because 3 points, everyone would have been ranting that we got 3 points out of these first 3 games, if we're being honest.
Right. Well, Sam, I'd love to have you on again in a couple of weeks to see, obviously, whether your opinions change. You've given, 5 games, all right? So we'll look out for those.
And I'll be honest, let me just disclaimer, the 5 games, that means even against Norwich, he can't scrape a 2-1. It needs to be convincing, because it won't silence the mob who are now just baying for blood with no clarity.
Cool. Sam, Leo, big up for coming on, man. I've had some very patient guests in the back.
Just a quick one with the Get Amped, just because it is about sports. Abraham scored for Roma as well, so he's off the score sheet for Roma.
Absolutely.
PSG are 2-0 up, but no, Messi had his debut, yeah?
Cool. Wicked.
All right. See you later, brother.
Nice one.
Ciao.
Yeah, Brad and Vibes. I know the questions there, but I've got to filter out who I can actually ask those questions to. I don't want to get unsubscribers and that. But I'm going to bring a Wolves fan.
How are you doing, Rich?
You must be hard done by today.
I think we spoke 3 weeks ago, didn't we? And all the things I kind of spoke to about have all come to fruition. Goals win games. And you're still relying on, Jimenez after everything. He's not going to be back until he gets that kind of goal, isn't it? I heard one of the commentators say about scoring a headed goal. Come on, guys. I think that's a bit too far. He needs to get, one with the feet. But I feel like what you said, the 3 games we've played well, especially against Man United on the counter-attack, especially in the, in the game. But we all know about Touré. He hasn't got that end product as what he did in the first couple.
He really doesn't.
And I think, again, it's just where the goals are going to come for. We, the counter-attacks against the Varans, against the Maguires, it looked like knife through butter. But then as soon as they got to the final third, there was nothing. And I feel like, is Gibbs White going to be scoring? Is where Podence going to be scoring? I still can't see where the goals are coming from. The style, I see the style. I've seen some counter-attack. I've seen some lovely play. I've seen some balls over the top. I've seen a mix over the last 3 games, because I think one of the things that I was saying, I'm not really well-versed, but I can't see the goals. I cannot. You're in the same similar position with, you've seen some things under Vieira that you like and you don't like. If you never had Gallagher, where would the goals would come from yesterday? So I just feel like you don't want to start scoring how many games in after international break. The games are going to be coming thick and fast. And, you're not scoring now. You're not going to feel the effects until May.
And when you look back at all 3 of your games so far, you've played well.
Yeah. I think we played probably the best. Today was probably the best. I think we played well in the first game. Second game, okay, but I think we played exceptionally well in spells today. I mean, Man United was there for the taking, unfortunately. You know what I mean? It was just, but the ball has to, you know, hit the net, and then you can't be complaining about this Pogba Neves challenge because, you know, they should have already been ahead. So, you know, I mean, at this level, you know, goals win games, and I feel like you can have all, you know, stylistic football playing from the back doing this, but if you're not doing nothing in the final third and you're not putting ball in net, it doesn't matter what you do. So
yeah. There were rumours of Adama Traore going to Spurs. Do you think that's going to happen before the end of the window?
Well, this has been the craziest window I've ever seen. So I mean, anything's possible. I feel like doing it now will leave Wolves short because, you know, everything that's going on with the transfers, with Brexit, you know, deals, apart from the Ronaldo deal, deals are taking X amount of days to get over the line. So, yes, Spurs will get the better end of the deal, but will Wolves have the ability, will they have the capacity to sign another player to fill the void? And, you know, what we got, 48 hours? Probably not. So, again, it's one of these things where the big club's taking from the little clubs, and the little club will have to, there's no point in having X amount of, 40 million or so just sitting in the kitty till January. So, I mean, I feel like it probably will happen because obviously Spurs are kicking on. You know, people come with the right money. We'll see in the comments, he was unreal, but there's no one product. I mean, you know, we're both coaches. We see it every time we're in Crystal Palace, kids with all the skill and everything that you're doing, and it looks great. But final third, can't do nothing. You know, I think there was times when he could have crossed the ball. He could have done this. He could have done that. He could have shot. I feel like he's lost a bit of the confidence in even him shooting. I mean, he's not the best shooting, but even if you shoot and you get a corner, you've got to. The De Gea has been shaky all this time, and today it looked like a world beater because there wasn't really no pressure. There wasn't that Neves and Moutinho shooting from, you know, distances where when we've beaten Man United in the past is when we've tested the keeper, when we've kind of, you know, put them on the back foot. And I feel like we did some of the things that we've done in the past, but we didn't look like a threat in terms of scoring a goal apart from, you know, the saves on the line, which is extraordinary. So, I mean, we've got to do, you know, a lot better in the final third, but we can't also be relying on Jimenez. We had this conversation, you know, 3 weeks ago, and that's where we are. But we played some great football. Maybe the international break, maybe we can rejuvenate and come back. So, oh God, don't start about Denjay. These comments are funny. I wish Dan James sometimes moved like Traore because it's just like he was worse. So, I mean, that's kind of my thing, but what you don't want to do is getting into this rut and it starts getting to, you know, November, December, and you're struggling and the pressure starts piling because you know the pressure is going to be on the manager as well. You're not going to sack 25 players. You're going to get rid of the manager. So I feel like where Pochettino's kind of gone to Spurs and it's working out well, at the moment, it's not working for the manager in terms of the results. And, you know, this is a results business. So
This is it. Just before you go, because I kind of took you away from, you know, wifey and that. How do you think the season is going to go for you?
I don't think we'll get relegated. I think we'll stay. I think that we'll have, you know, the patches where we'll, you know, we've had a few tough games. I think we'll pick up some points, but the difference between relegation or being games like today where we should have got a point, for instance, and I feel like, yeah, we look at it now and we think, oh, it's kicking on, but everybody will say, oh, yeah, we lost games in April or, you know, March, but sometimes it's the games that you lose earlier on. So I feel like we'll survive, but surviving isn't going anywhere. We're not that Wolves that we were when we was fighting for Europa League. It's just like we're just floating at the moment. And I mean, you probably feel the same way. You know, you can see some kind of improvements of Vieira. You know, guys still don't know what's going on with Zaha. So we're definitely in the same boat in that we're still waiting to see what that direction looks like.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't worry. I wasn't going to come on here and start talking about Dubai Wi-Fi and stuff like that. I was just going to keep it short and sweet because I know there's lots of fans that want to come and have their voice. But I feel it was very frustrating. It's a very frustrating day because we could have got something from the game. So, but that's Premier League football for you.
No, this is it. And I love this comment from Vibes. Adama was acting like Luke Shaw stole his gym membership. he was really good today, but his issue is always in the final third. You know, so but yeah, shout out your company again, actually.
So my company, Alex Higgins Academy, we're across all platforms. it's literally at Alex Higgins Academy. You can find us, like, follow, you know, and keep on doing the great work that you're doing as well, Rich. And I'm loving that you're giving fans, you know, the platform, even if we have to kind of put our misses to a side for a second. But definitely, you know, I'm going back to watch Greatest Showman now, so, you know, which is probably better than the Man United Wolves game today, to be fair. So, but yeah, thanks again, and hopefully next time I speak to you, we'd put some balls in the back of the net.
Pause. All right, later, bro.
See you later.
Yeah. No, I got a lot of time for Stefan, man. Yeah, make sure you check out his business, the Alex Higgins Academy. Doing great things in the community, man. Really, really great things. Right, let's bring on the United contingent. Brush, Ferbs, Vic. You lot are definitely going to be happy about your result, but not happy about the performance. I know Ferbs is going to come in the background as well, so we'll start off with Brush and Vic. What's happening, lads?
What is good? I don't think I've spoken to you since the madness on Friday, bro. Because that evening was a bit of a mess for me, so I wasn't even in a fit condition to like jump on any of the reaction streams to what went down.
We'll come to the Ronaldo aspect in a minute. But Big, I asked you a couple weeks ago, is Donny's United career done? And you said, no, it's fine. There's plenty of games to play. McTominay's injured. Fred's abysmal at the minute. Matic is Matic.
Rich, McTominay was injured last week, bro. An injured McTominay came on before Donny.
Mad. Big, talk to us. What's going on with Donny?
I don't know. I really don't. I mean, at this point, I don't know. I mean, I think, you know, when you asked me that question a couple of weeks back, I'm thinking, hey, you know, obviously Ole prefers McFred, so it's, you know, I didn't expect anything different. But like you mentioned, like last week, McTominay wasn't 100% fit, and he still started, he still played. This week he went with Pogba and Fred in the double pivot. So I don't know. I honestly don't know what this guy has to do. I mean, you got him for 40 million. You should at least get him some minutes off the bench, at least, if he's not going to start. So at this point, I don't know. I think maybe, I don't know, maybe he said something to Ole, to his, I mean, I don't want to start any rumors or anything, but at this point, it's like, I don't know if it's personal. I don't know if it's just Ole doesn't rate him, but I honestly don't know. I mean, yeah, you're right, Santiago. He needs to put a transfer request or a loan or something because, you know, I believe Jesse Lingard went on loan last year, did a matting over at West Ham, and he got some minutes last week coming off the bench against Southampton. But Donny didn't. He didn't get a single minute. So at this point, I don't know, man. I'm a loss for words.
It's crazy. Brush, talk to us. What's happening to you, boy?
Boy, Fred was dead today. You know, we've called for a DM for so long in this window. If one arrives, what's really going to change under Ole? Like, just putting a DM there isn't going to solve our problems. It's going to be very interesting when Ronaldo comes into this, because I can see him just standing in the box with his arms in the air, just frustrated as hell. That's also going to be interesting to see. I reckon what will happen is he is pretty much just going to take control.
Absolutely.
We're still doing the same things, Rich. We're so reliant on individual performances and for people to step up. And, you know, it's a coaching issue, man. So I truly believe that even if given all of the tools under this manager, it's going to be a struggle.
Yeah.
Like, you can give someone all the ingredients in it. They're not going to turn it into what Gordon Ramsay can do with it. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And that's where we're at with it.
Fabs, I'll get your message. So, like, whenever you're ready, you can jump on, bro. It's crazy. Let's talk about your performance, though. How do you feel?
Bro, what is there to talk about, bro? There was a snap and grab. Like, honestly, like, it was, yeah, Stefan should have been pissed, bro. Like, on another day, it could have gone the other way, and like, it's mad. reminiscent of the game against Brighton last season, where I had no clue at the end of it how he walked away with 3 points. It was just dead. The highlight, David De Gea, for all the people that have been chatting shit about him over the years, you know, he showed what he can still do, what he's capable of. You just need to cement that position now, and you need to, Henderson needs to go out on loan, man.
Do you think he'll take a loan though? He might just leave.
Bro, when you say take a loan, like he hasn't got a choice in it. Like the manager needs to tell him, like, listen, bro, you're going. Like, what do you want to do? Do you want to go on loan or do you want to jam on the bench and watch De Gea? Like, you know, this is part of the problem with our club. Like he was, you know, I had quotes last week where he came out with regards to Jesse Lingard saying, "Oh, it's up to Jesse if he goes or stays." Bro, they're saying a youth club. What do you mean? What do you mean it's not up to Jesse? Like everyone's here to do a job, innit? You're tasked of telling me these man where to go. Like, how are you gonna leave it up to him? What sense does that make?
Bick, what's your thoughts on the game?
Again, this comes down to the fact that we see so much of Dan James. Ollie's clearly got his favourites in it, and he likes to use his favourites. There's no other reason why Dan is getting minutes, really. I don't like to go in on the kid too much because I know what he is in it. He's a championship player. He came from the championship. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's on us now, like, for expecting anything other than that. So, yeah.
Bick, what was your thoughts on the game?
Just like bro said, I mean, a lot of individual brilliance saved us today. I think Adama Traore, if this guy had an end product, I don't know, we would have probably lost the game maybe 3-4-0 because he was tearing up that whole right side was his. He was untouchable. Luke Shaw, I think he had maybe one good challenge on him, but that's it. Adama Traore is a different animal. Unlike, I think last season, it's going to take him some time before him and Jimenez get back on the same wavelength because two years ago, yes, Vibes FC, I definitely agree. Just beep it, inshallah, yeah, definitely. But yeah, I think it's going to take some time before both Jimenez and Adama Traore get to kind of link up again, which was good for us because if that had happened today, we definitely would have been smashed. But I think credit goes to Varane. First and foremost, Varane had a solid game. When I think there was a play, Maguire got beat by Trincao, who, credit to Trincao, had a great game individually as well for Wolves. But Varane was still there to mop up. He was there to cover. And then ultimately, he was the one who got the assist for Mason Greenwood's goal. So I think in terms of debuts, 10 out of 10 for Varane. Sancho still needs time, I would say. He definitely looked average today. Yeah, I mean, with David De Gea, when a save like that, double save, he's still on the ground, he makes a save. I think it's one of those where you think like, wow, you know, maybe, you know, we can nick it, a proper smash and grab, and, you know, that's how it went. So shout out to Starboy, man, getting his back-to-back goals, a goal in each performance this season. So I'm glad to see him on the score sheet. Bruno was very quiet today, again, I would say. And I think Pogba in the double pivot does not work because he just, you know, doesn't have the same influence as opposed to him playing on the left-hand side. I don't know why Dan James keeps getting some minutes. I mean, if you think about it, this transfer window, we brought in the likes of Ronaldo, Sancho, Pogba's fit, Cavani's back in play, Greenwood gets some minutes. And yet Dan James will get, you know, he will probably, even if Dan James gets hurt, say he picks up an injury and doesn't play a single minute for the rest of the season, he probably gets more minutes than Donny van de Beek. It's just unfathomable. So it's just that sort of day. And thanks to Wan-Bissaka as well, he made a pivotal challenge, a pivotal goal line block. So shout out the Spider-Man Wan-Bissaka. But overall, just like Brush said, I think just a lot of individual brilliance that saved us today.
Yeah, it was mentioned here as well.
It worried me as well that Sancho started on the left. Because, you know, we mentioned last week against Southampton, it looked like he was running away from Wan-Bissaka. This doesn't bode well for anything. And Wan-Bissaka's long-term future, you have to look at that. That's an issue. Because, you know, I was of the impression initially that Sancho is going to come in and strengthen that right-hand side and possibly make Wan-Bissaka better. But that's not what we've seen thus far. I know it's very early days, but it's just something to keep our eye on. With Sancho as well, you know, I called in the summer for patience. I think it's very easy to watch his compilation videos and get really gassed. It's a different league, the Premier League. It's going to take time for him to adjust and acclimatize.
Right.
Cool. Oh boy. International break here. Would you? And obviously, last couple of days of the window, you've got Ronaldo in as well. The emotional roller coaster we spoke about on Friday.
Mhm.
What do you think is going to happen with the squad, though? And do you think?
I think
I personally don't think Donny's going to get any minutes. I think he's done.
Yeah, Sabia. We haven't seen anything. Yeah. Hopefully Donny gets a move, bro, before the window closes. I'm hoping someone comes in with a loan bid and he goes and gets game time because it's ridiculous at this point.
We'll take him.
And honestly, like, well, I'm hoping there are 1 or 2 outgoings and stuff come the end of the window anyway on the last day, because, you know, there is a few that could do with a loan move or permanently, like Jesse.
Do you think they'll go? Because like even Dallo came on today.
I heard Dortmund were interested in Darlow, but we're holding out. But I don't know what we're holding out for because we know Ollie won't really use it. So again, it's a bit mad.
I'm going to throw the question out there before you guys go. Should Ollie be using him? Because obviously, Wan-Bissaka, we know defensively is very good, but there's a lot of noise.
And then you've got the opposite problem with Darlow, bro, where going forward he's good, but defensively he's whack.
Right.
So, you know,
Pick your poison.
it poses the opposite problem.
So which one of the two works better for you now?
Well, at the moment, I would say if you've got him at the club, you already know what Wan-Bissaka's deficiencies are. So you can pick out the games in which you can go with a Darlow and give him a run and see how it goes.
Yeah.
But will Ollie do that? I don't know.
Guess we're gonna have to wait and see.
Mm.
Yeah, and see. But all in all, well, you got 7 points, I believe, out of the 9. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, on paper, bro, when you look at it like that, it's kind of mad, innit? Because, you know, when you really look into the games, it tells a different story. So that's what it is. It's the same thing last season. If you look at the table, like just, you know, at the end of the season, you think, oh, United second. But how far away were we from City? You know?
Absolutely. Ronaldo could be the difference maker, but I guess the big question is, would you supply him the service? And then
that I can see him getting frustrated in that. But he is a leader on and off that pitch, though, and we need experience. And yeah, I think overall for squad morale, it does wonders. I'm also happy that someone like him will be there to mentor the likes of Rashford, Mason, Jaden.
Mm-hmm.
So it will have a positive impact on them. I'm not really going to get into like what kind of numbers he's going to do in that. We'll just wait and see in it.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Now, absolutely, thanks for coming on. Obviously, sharing your thoughts on the game. You've literally done a smash and grab. This was a literal drive-by.
This is crazy, bro. This is crazy.
Absolute drive-by. Vic, shout out your pod and that.
Yes, sir. Raw Football Talk.
Is it me? Or can you hear him?
Did he mute his mic? Vic, you still there?
You just went quiet.
I just had silence. I wasn't sure if the mic went.
I thought my headphones bust.
Yeah, I thought it was me. I thought my internet was moving like Hamza's, so I just thought I'd wait.
Yeah, you look like you're muted, Vic. Well, right at the end, yeah, it's saying that his mic's not connected. You know, Vic, once you get sorted out, I'll bring you back in to obviously promote your pod. Jose, thanks for being in the chat. I know you asked about Hamza. He was here earlier, to be fair. He was on earlier. and such. He's currently in Dubai, and I think it's quite late there. Right, final call for Ferbs. Hopefully, they'll love to chat to Ferbs if he's about. I know he's busy, but he did say he'll try and jump on. There we go. Bick, you good?
Yeah, I'm good now. Can you guys hear me?
There we go. Yeah.
Okay. All right, perfect. So yeah, just gotta say, Raw Football Talk. We are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, and then we have Sports Story series. So we try to get people on the show, talk about their sports stories, and really just do like a feature story type of thing. And yeah, our Instagram page has plenty of followers now, so we do a lot of bite-sized content and pieces like that. And we also have our merchandise page as well, if anyone wants like classic jerseys or any official Raw Football Talk gear. So feel free. And then one day, Rich, would love to have you on our show. Ask you about your sports stories. I know you've been in the game for decades now, so love to have you on, my guy. Thank you for
appreciate that, man. We'll talk. No doubt. Thanks for that. Really appreciate that. All right, take care, Bick. Brush, just one thing from man like Brush always speaks sense, and I'm not just saying that because he looks like he could punch me through the screen.
Vibes always says this. I'm like Buddha, bro. I meditate on that, man. I'm not on violence.
Listen, the comment section, they want you to start for channel, boy. But listen, Brush is always supporting, like whatever channel it is. Brush is always there supporting. So big up to you, Brush.
Anytime, bro.
Take it easy.
Easy.
Main man's here. What's happening? I've been waiting to get you on. Been waiting to get you on for time. How you doing, man?
Everything good, man.
Good. Talk to us about your club.
Boy, I'm gonna tell you, it's looking like the same as last year, man. Just like a couple upgrades, but same thing. Same only Gunner freestyle still seems like it.
I mean, I asked the others, like, what do you think's happening with Donny?
I don't know what Donny done. I mean, at this point, you gotta give him a chance at least to fail. He ain't even been given that. From he ain't been given that. Obviously, Ali ain't going to put him in. I don't know why. He's got to go. It's sad to say, but you might as well just sold him and bought somebody else in who you are going to try use at some point. Don is, I don't know, man. It's sort of ridiculous. The last 2 games in a row, the midfield's been so overrun. To not try somebody who knows how to play ball and 1-2, especially to drop Pogba back today, just backwards to me. Don't make no sense.
It's crazy, and obviously just looking at the game, it was screaming for someone to progress the ball from the middle of the park. Pogba wasn't having a good game. Fred was Fred. And then you sit down and you turn around and Donny's not even warming up. Like, it's just weird.
It's not even a thought on all his mind.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at the game, you can clearly see what we're missing. We need somebody, just like you said, to progress the ball forward from that middle of the park. We got to free up Pogba. Pogba could play back there sometimes, but if it ain't 2 8s, if it's just the 2 6s, that ain't Pogba's role. Yeah. Pogba does not like to be he does not like to be harassed the whole game, and no time or freedom on the ball, especially when he ain't next to somebody who can play ball with him. Freya can't do that. He needs Bruno, Cavani, people can hold the ball and lay it back to him and give him that little space and create that threat so that people double up on somebody else, not just him. He can't handle the press all game like that.
Absolutely. Where do you think you're going to go going forward as a club then, if the midfield's going to remain a problem? There's like 2 days left of the transfer window. Doesn't look like there's any noise about a defensive midfielder coming in. And I think you're even struggling to get some of your, and I say Deadwood, out of the club too. Like, what do you think is going to happen?
Well, I mean, if they don't move and get somebody, which it looks like we ain't, it's gonna be the same thing all season. We're gonna have some games, right, where we're gonna blow people right out the water, especially with Ronaldo coming. We're gonna have some games where it's gonna be amazing, but it's all gonna be still on the same thing. Individual brilliance, just like last year, hoping on players to get it done for you, as opposed to having tactics and then even changing them tactics and adapting and pivoting throughout the game. He still ain't got that. They're still learning on the job. And I ain't gonna lamb-blast him for it because he's not the one who got him the job. I can't blame him for taking it. But at this point, it's clear, man. It's been clear for a while that he can't progress the team across the level that he took him to. He came in, he done his job, but at this point, he ain't gonna be able to take him to the next level. And with Ronaldo, it just gives him another headache. I'm so obviously I'm over the moon that he came back, but my personal opinion, I don't think Solskjaer is gonna be able to handle all the changes and experimentations he's gonna have to do, because all that's gonna do is make us drop more points. And this is supposed to be a season where we challenge for the league, and not playing like this, we ain't gonna do it. You need the spine of your team to be correct, and that's like keeper, center defense, center midfield, striker. You need to at least have a core of really good to a baller. That's what you need in order to progress to win a league. But we're missing that hole, man, right in the middle.
Yeah. Before I come to you on the Ronaldo situation, thoughts on Varane's performance?
Varane was solid. He had a solid performance. Yeah, I really like that. He should have been here from the very beginning, because he didn't need. He's just like Bruno. He don't need no time to settle in, man. He just needs to hit the ground running. Sancho, I already knew he was going to come over and struggle a little bit, because he struggled a lot last season, and then he kicked on the second half. But then he had an ugly Euros. He didn't get played, and then when he did play, they just insulted him by bringing him on for penalties, and then he didn't do himself no justice by missing. Yeah. So he came over salty. So and Solskjaer should have put him on from start, like from the very beginning, because he's got to play him out of that. That's the thing about it. Sitting him on the bench ain't gonna do him no good. But this is the biggest thing of Sancho, right? His main qualities are going forward. So he's gonna really thrive when it comes to. Yeah, he's gonna really thrive when it comes to like playing good football and 1-2 and on the attack. He don't want to be tracking back all game, man. That's not what he wants to do. And it's the same with Pogba. Pogba don't want to do that all game. He wants to affect the game in the final third.
Yeah, absolutely. Ronaldo, obviously, he's come in. What was your thoughts when he was initially touted to go City?
I said it on somebody else's thing. I would have acted like he didn't even come to United if he would have done it. He'd still be a legend in the back of my head, but in the front, I would act like he never even came to United. He'd have been from Sporting straight to Real Madrid. Yeah, because it would have been disrespect. And it said, because even though he only came because, for one, it was so much backlash going on social media about how United wouldn't do it, and then City really didn't want to pay no fee. If it came down to it, if City was willing to pay 15, 20, he'd have went. It was clear as day he would have went. When Romano was telling everybody that, he weren't telling you that to just blow smoke at everybody. He was telling you that because it was out there.
This is it. I don't know what more to say about your club. You were lucky today.
Yeah. Hey, I feel bad for Wolves, because, to be honest, they should be on about 6-7 points easy right now.
Easily, yeah.
And they won 0 with Arsenal.
Without scoring as well.
Or 1. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they got 1 point. Without scoring.
United did not deserve to win today. I'm sorry to tell you. Not by a long shot. If Jimenez gets about 5 to 8 games under his belt and he don't pick up no injuries, they'll be all right. He just needs to get, he needs to get his confidence back. It's going to take a minute.
100%. Vibes, Noah, thanks for coming on, debut on my channel. It's been an absolute pleasure. Yeah. And we'll definitely talk more in the future. But stay in the back. I'm going to speak to you behind the scenes as well. So I'm going to wrap up.
Yeah, man. And
I'll chat to you.
Appreciate you for having me on too. Same way.
No, 100%. Don't go nowhere. Stay there.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, guys, this is another episode of Get Amped. Thank you lot so much, man. It's amazing to get different clubs, different viewpoints about the weekend, and we'll keep churning this out every Sunday night. Comment sections, you know what it is, man. You lot just make it what it is, make it fun, making it entertaining and stuff. So really, really appreciate you for that. Just final comments. Yep, Traoré and Trincao got that Fred finishing style. Listen, Wolves did not take their chances, and I think that's kind of sums up their season at the moment. They're just not taking their chances. You know, I see obviously a lot of chat about Hamza, and Hamza is everywhere. Well, you know, I respect it. I definitely respect his grind. Like young man, just doing his thing. You know, and you know, he's gonna get his flowers, man. He'll start growing. He just needs to stop ranting about my club, because then he gets himself put in my club colours. So yeah, listen, guys, please. This is the most important thing, guys. Like the stream. Just like it now, please. And subscribe and spread the word. Like if you got friends, family who support clubs and they want to come and have their say on a Sunday night, this is the show for it. So that was Get Amped, match day 3. Palace got a great draw. United nicked 1. I'll definitely check on Orton. I'm actually going to call him, you know. Orton's an Arsenal fan. I definitely sort of a support group for him, 100%. And guys, listen, love to you all, man. Like, share, subscribe. I'm out.